Hi guys and gals, it's the Cannabis Crone. I just wanted to do a quick little discussion on corruption, ethics, hypocrisy. Yeah, right, that's going to be a little podcast. But no, just going to make this quick. But I have noticed that uh, it seems that our country has been the mentality has been changing since Cheeto Amigo got into the presidency almost 4 years ago. We don't seem to place a premium on integrity or ethics anymore when it comes to politics. Now, I know that politics have never been completely ethical in this country, but there have been good people. There have been leaders that tried, and now no one's even trying. And we see this at the top level, but we're also seeing it in local politics too. And I want to talk about my own township, Northern Township. We have a county commissioner who is not only racist, but has been caught being racist on film, on videotape. He disregards the mask mandate. He thinks he's above the law. And it's so frustrating because it doesn't seem to bother a lot of people, at least not his constituents. Me, it bothers the hell out of me. First we had a story, and I looked into this, so I'm not just throwing rumors out there. Apparently, Mr. Lukachik, who is our county commissioner, was seen at a bar called Slim's. He was sitting at the bar with 5 or 6 other white guys, and apparently they were talking very loudly about racist things. This racist diatribe that they were engaging in was so loud that people that were eating could hear them. And one woman finally took a picture. She wasn't from this area, but she was a Native woman, and she said she couldn't handle it any longer. So she took a picture and posted it on Facebook and said, these guys in your community, this is what they were doing. Well, it turns out Mr. Lukachik was part of that party. Not only were they being loud and racist, but they also were not wearing masks or social distancing. Now, I don't know what it's like in each state is different, but Minnesota has an emergency mask mandate. You have to wear a mask when you're in public spaces, even restaurants and bars. And you only take your mask down to eat or drink, and you put it back up again. Well, these guys weren't even wearing them around their neck. They just weren't wearing them because apparently they are white, privileged, and above the law. So that bothers me. The racism bothers me. But the reason I'm not surprised about it is because this past winter, when Cheeto Amigo asked states and counties to weigh in on whether they would support refugees coming to the community, Mr. Lukachek used the word invasive when describing refugees. Okay, well, that is wrong on so many levels. Because, first of all, refugees are fleeing a dangerous situation. They jump through so many hoops to be even considered for asylum. And when they finally do, and they come to a community, the majority of these refugees become very good members of the community in good standing. They pay their taxes. They help out many. There's a lot of them that are professional when they come here. We're talking doctors and attorneys and people that are fleeing a country that has become dangerous for them, kind of like this one is starting to become. But so to use the term invasive, actually to even describe any human beings, I think is absolutely appalling. But he did, and it's on record. I mean, it was during a commissioner meeting. So you have that. So that's why I'm not surprised that this other incident happened. And then there was an incident the other day where there was an Enbridge pipeline public forum going on at a hotel, and a woman was live streaming it, and nobody in that it was packed full of people, all Caucasian. Nobody wearing a mask, nobody social distancing. And Mr. Jim Lukachik was there smiling because he's happy, because he's among his own kind and he's not wearing a mask and he doesn't give a shit and he thinks it's funny. So I ask you, if you are a public official, are you not supposed to follow the governor's mandate, whether you like it or not? It's okay to sit here and say, well, I don't like wearing a mask, but to not wear one and to actually openly encourage others not to, and to stand in the middle, because this is a county commissioner. He could have stood up and said, you know, guys, let's all put our masks on just to be safe. I live in Bemidji, okay, in the outskirts. I live in Beltrami County. And I have to shop in Bemidji. I have to go to Bemidji. I do not want to see it become another hotspot for COVID-19. Our numbers are already pretty high, okay? We're getting new cases every day, and yet these people, and there was like, 60 people in the room. I'm really not good at gauging, but it was full. And there's probably more. I always lowball it. I'm a lowballer. But there was quite a few people, and nobody was wearing a mask or social distancing. So this was a chance for our county commissioner to stand up and represent us and say, you know what, we should be wearing masks. Let's all just put our masks on, But no, nobody did. Nobody cared. And God knows how many people were passing around because they were sitting right up next to each other. When she brought this to a police officer's attention, our wonderful Bemidji Police Department, the officer said, I can't do anything about it because I don't know how many of those people have medical exemptions. Okay, yeah, everybody in that room had a medical exemption, right? Now I have to wonder if it was a room full of natives or a room full of black people. Would the cops have said, well, we can't check everyone for a medical exemption? Or would there have been people being carted out there? Would they have made a big fuss about it? You have to think that. And I actually know the answer to that question because I know our police department here. So, and that's what the officer said. I can't do anything about it. I don't know. Bullshit. It's a state mandate. There's actually a number at the state that you can call and report businesses who are not, forcing the mask mandate, which obviously this Hampton Inn wasn't. You had a manager running around with a mask on, but she refused to make these other people wear a mask. Now, I left a message, and I encourage other people who live in Bemidji to call the Hampton and tell them that this is unacceptable. And it's definitely unacceptable for anybody who happened to be staying in that hotel who didn't know that this room full of unmasked, germ-spreading Petri dish people was there in the same building that they were in. This shit's dangerous. I know that the non-maskers are running around saying it's less dangerous than the flu and stuff like this, but you know what? There is a Lengther syndrome that is accompanying COVID survivors where they're never the same. They have physical problems now. They're having trouble breathing when they never did before. They're having neurological problems. They're having respiratory, pulmonary. This is a serious virus that we don't really know anything about. I mean, if you consider that how long it's been going on, we still know nothing. And, the things that we find out about it change because viruses mutate. So I guess my point is this. When you are voting, think about whether that candidate really represents you. If he is a racist candidate who feels above the law and who feels that he is entitled, is that what kind of person you are? Does that represent your motivations? Does that represent what you feel, what's important to you? Because if you're not racist and you think that, people should follow rules that were put in place to make sure that other people are healthy and that we're all trying to get through this virus, if you're just so disregarding of human life and you're okay with talking racist in a public place and you think that it is your right to do so, then maybe you do not belong in a public office. Maybe you should not be a servant leader because you're definitely not being a servant to all of the people that you represent. There are a lot of multicultural people in this area. It's very diverse. And yet it seems like Mr. Lukacik is only representing a very small portion. And thank goodness for that. So when you vote, make sure that you pick someone who represents what you really feel and believe. And if the incumbent does not, then don't vote for him. I hope everyone has a beautiful, blessed day, and namaste.